All right, so we're going to take a look at Algebra 1, Relationships with Quantities, the study guide for the first test. All right, so we're just going to go through every example. And basically, if you don't need that example, then you can go on to the next one. The sum of a rational and an irrational number is always. Now, because it says always, now remember in the notebook, there were 3 different things, but I never remember. So when it says always, it means like, I'm going to give myself a rational and an irrational number and see what happens. So give me a rational number. So what is a rational number? Rational numbers can be written in fractions. If it has a decimal, it ends or repeats. Irrational cannot be written as a fraction. If it's a decimal, it doesn't end, so it doesn't end or repeat. So irrational, not a fraction, doesn't end or repeat. So sum of a rational number. Give me a fraction or an integer, so let's say 3, plus an irrational number. It's not a fraction, doesn't end or repeat, like something like pi or something. So remember 3.14, blah, 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 blah. What happens when I add those? So if I take any irrational number and I add 3 to it. So let's say this number, because I don't know it offhand, actually, I'm going to change it. Let's add 3 plus 1.3218673, and it goes on forever, right? What's going to happen? When I add them, it's going to be 3 plus the 1 here is going to be 4, and then all of this, 3.218673, blah, blah, blah. So is that rational or irrational? It's still irrational. So the sum of a rational and an irrational number is always going to be irrational. So that's going to be D. If the actual weight of an object is 4 kilograms, so 4 kgs, okay, which measurement is most accurate? Most accurate. So which number is closest to 4 kgs? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a number line, okay? On this number line, these numbers are all bigger than 4. So this is going to be 4. And the highest is 4.3, so I'm going to say this is 4.5. Okay, so from 4.0 to 4.5, they're going to be 5 spaces, right? So 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4. All right, let me try and put these wherever they go in this number line. So 4.01 is really close to this, right? 4.01. So let's put that one here. This is where A is. Okay. 4.1 is here, so that's where B is. 4.2, so 4.2, and then 3 is just after 4.2, but before this. So let's say somewhere here, and we're just estimating. 4.3, then 1, so 4.3, and then 1.5. So that's going to be before 4.4, but after here. This is D. And the question is, which one is most accurate? So which one is closest to 4? So where's 4? This is 4 right here. Which one is closest to 4, A, B, C, or D? A, because A is just this far away. So A is your closest to 4. All right, the sum. So let's talk about what the word sum means. Sum means you are adding. So the sum, so you're going to add this and this. Now remember, whenever you're adding, go ahead and just put parentheses first. So I'm going to have 3x squared plus x minus 7 plus, in parentheses, x squared plus 10. Okay, now we can work on adding and subtracting polynomials. So again, this is all in your notebook, but it's just a review. So we're going to combine, well, first we're going to get rid of the parentheses. That means you look at the sign outside the parentheses. No sign here, so nothing changes here. So this is going to be 3x squared plus x minus 7. Then there's a plus sign here. Because it's plus, when you distribute that, everything stays the same, so it's going to be plus x squared plus 10. Now we have to combine like terms. So I like going ahead and boxing like terms. So don't forget the symbol right in front of the term. So all the x squareds together, the x's together, don't forget the symbol, and the numbers together. Don't forget the symbols. Now let's combine the shapes that look the same. 3x squared plus 1x squared is 4x squared. Circle is by itself, so, and I like to cancel as I go so I don't forget anything. Circles by itself, so that's plus x. And then I have negative 7 plus 10. What team is this? Negative. Meeting what team? Positive. What's going to happen when the negative team meets the positive team? They're going to fight. Who's going to win? The positive. Why? Because they have more people. So the positive team is going to win, so that's going to be plus. But they're going to lose how many people? 7. So they will win by 3 people. And so that answer is C. All right. When this is subtracted from this, so the key thing is subtracted from. Okay, if I tell you that I came from the I went to class from the cafeteria, where did I start from? Like, where did I start walking? I started at the cafeteria, right? It's the same thing. If I started from the cafeteria to class, I started from the cafeteria. So from is my beginning. So I start from this, and I'm going to this. So it's subtracted. So this is subtracted from, which means I start here. So this is going to be 3x squared minus 5 subtracted from the beginning. So this is subtracted from that. So subtract this from this. So x squared plus x minus 3. All right, again, what's the symbol out here? Positive, so this doesn't change, so 3x squared minus 5. But this symbol is going to change everything in here, right? So if you do that, I'm going to get negative x squared. If you do that, you're going to get negative x. If you do that, you're going to get positive 3. And then again, boxes and circles and triangles. So x squareds, all the x squared in a box. Don't forget the symbol, x squared. All the x's in a circle, all the numbers in triangles. Don't forget the symbol. All right, so combine the shapes. So you got 3x squared minus x squared is going to give me 2x squared. And again, cancel it as you do it. And then I've got just one circle of minus x. And then I've got 2 triangles, and I've got negative 5 meets positive 3. What teams? Negative team meets positive team. What's going to happen? They're going to fight. Who's going to win? The negative, because the negative has more people. So negative wins by how many? By 2. All right, so now we find that answer. So 2x squared minus x minus 2. So that's going to be B. All right, the product, the word product means what? To multiply. So the product of these two. So remember, put them in parentheses. So I'm multiplying 2x minus 3 times x plus 4. Now, I'm always going to use a box, especially later on in algebra. You're going to see why. It's very important for you to use a box, so you have to use a box. So this is 2x minus 3, 2x minus 3, and x plus 4. So go ahead and multiply. 2x times x is 2x squared. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. 2x times 4 is 8x. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. Then add the diagonals. So there's going to be 2x squared. And then you've got negative 3x plus 8. So what teams are meeting? Different teams. So what's going to happen? They're going to fight. Who wins? The 8 wins because they have more people than the negative team. So positive wins by how many? By 5. And then just that. And you could double check this by multiplying it out like this, but I do definitely prefer it this way. So 2x squared plus 5x minus 12. So that's D. Which expression is equivalent to this? Now remember, anytime you have the exponent, it's the amount of times you multiply what is there by itself. For example, if I had 5 squared, that's 5 2 times, 5 times 5. If I had 5 7 times, that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you multiply it all out. So when it has an expression, it's the same thing. What is it saying? This, how many times? 2 times. So what it's saying is x plus 3 times x plus 3, 2 times. So this is just another multiplying problem just like this. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my box. X plus 3 times x plus 3. So you got x times x, which is x squared, 3 times x, which is 3x, x times 3, which is 3x, 3 times 3, which is 9, and then add the diagonals. So you're going to have x squared, 3x plus 3x, same team, so 6x plus 9. So that answer is going to be D as well. Which of the following is an example of a cubic? So cubic means what? 3. Bi means 2. So cubic, so I'm looking for the power of 3, and then bi means I'm looking for two things. Okay, so cubic means I need x to the 3. So it's not this, not this. It's either this or this. But then binomial means I have 2 terms. So 2 terms, and then this is the power of 3. Okay, so that means 2 terms is going to be 1, 2. So the answer is C. Okay, that's just definitions. Which of the following has a lead-in? Lead-in means the beginning. Coefficient. Coefficient is the number before the variable of -2. So a leading coefficient means the first number. So first you have to make sure everything is in order in terms of power, and then look at the first number of that first one with the x. So is this in order? Yeah, it goes x and then nothing. This in order? Yeah, it goes x2, then x1, then nothing. Is this in order? No. So let's put this in order. So it's supposed to go, because the biggest term is, the biggest power is 3, it's supposed to go 3, 2, 1, then 0. So I'm going to rewrite this one. So the first one is -2x cubed plus squared, because it's supposed to keep going down, so 7x squared plus 9x, and then there's no number. So you see it goes 3, 2, 1, and then nothing. Same thing with this. We have to put this one in order, because that's not in order. The highest one, the highest power is 3, so it has to go 3, 2, 1, then nothing. So 4x cubed. Then there's a squared, 8x squared. And then there's no x, so it's like blank, and then after that will be nothing, so -2. And C goes 3, 2, it would be 0x, and then a number. Now that they're in order, find the lead-in. So you look at all the first ones. So all the first ones. Okay, that's the lead-in. Coefficient means the number before that first, the first x. So of -2. So that the number I'm looking for is -2. There it is. So that answer is C. Determine which ones are irrational. Okay, so no calculator, which ones are irrational. Now remember, as we went over in the first question, irrational cannot be a fraction. And I'm not writing full sentences. Cannot be a fraction. Decimal does not repeat. Doesn't repeat or end. Right, cannot be a fraction. Decimal doesn't repeat or end. Fraction of, oh, by the way, so cannot be a fraction of integers. Okay, so cannot be a fraction of integers. So is this irrational? No, because it's a fraction made up of what? Integers. It finishes, like it becomes 3/4 is 0.75. If you look at it as a decimal, it doesn't repeat or end, but this one does end. So this can be written as a fraction of integers, therefore it's not irrational, that's rational. What about square root of 4? Well, let's break down square root of 4. So if you have square root of 4, that breaks down to 2 and 2. So that's going to be 2 and 2. And what do you see? I see a book, right? So take that book, put it outside, and then there's nothing inside, so that's going to be equal to 2. So is that, and if I write that as a fraction, it'll be 2/1. Is this a fraction? Can it be a fraction of integers? Are both of these numbers integers? Yes. So is it irrational? No. What about 3? Can I break 3 down? No, I cannot. So I can't break 3 down, which means it's not a perfect square, which means this number is irrational. It's going to be like, if the square root of 4 is 2, then it's going to be like 1 point blah, 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 blah. I don't know, whatever it is. So 3 is the only one which is irrational, so that's going to be 9A. Okay, so what is the best explanation why rational numbers are closed under addition? And this just means closed under addition means that the sum of those two rational numbers, the sum, because it's addition, okay, is also rational. So why is it always rational? So you read through this, why is the best explanation for why when you add two rational numbers, you get another rational number. So let's read through our explanations. Adding two rational numbers never results in a rational solution. Well, that's not true, because what we're saying is it's closed under addition, meaning it always results in a rational number. Adding two rational numbers always results in a rational solution. So that's what I'm looking for. But let's just go through the rest of them. Adding two rational numbers always results in an irrational. No, because closed under addition means that when you add rational with rational, you're going to get rational. So it's not that. Adding a rational number and an irrational, that's not what the question is asking, because it's saying a best explanation for why rational numbers, plural, are closed under addition, meaning why is it when you add two rational numbers, you get another rational number. So it's not that, so it has to be B. Find the product of the following and simplify. Okay, so we just need to break that down. So what goes into 15, so let's do 5 times 3. Break this down, that's going to be 2 times 3. I guess what I should have done is this first. When you're multiplying radicals, they're both inside, so they both go inside like that, right? Now I've broken both of them down, so that's going to give me 15 is going to be 3 and 5, and I'm going to put it in order, and 6 is going to be 2 and 3. So put it in order is going to be 2, a 3, another 3, and another 5. All right, what do you see? What do you see? You see a book, right? A book of 3. So cancel that, put it outside, and no other books. So now I have 3 outside, and then I have a 2 and a 5. So 2 times 5 is what? 10. So 3 radical 10. So that's C. All right, simplify the following expression. So we're adding and subtracting. So again, remember, the way I want you to think about it is anytime you see the radicals, okay, that are the same, they're like putting an X. So you see this is the same, so that's like putting an X there. This one's like putting a Y there. This one's like putting an X, right? So I can say 5X, that's radical 2, minus 3Y, Y is radical 3, minus 8X. And then it's really easy for you to see, right? So X's together, don't forget the symbol, Y's together. 5X minus 8X, so positive meets negative, what's going to happen? They're going to fight. Who wins? Negative. Why? Because there are more people. By how many? Negative 3. So negative 3X minus 3Y. And now let me put the radicals back. So what was X again? Radical 2. So this is going to be negative 3 radical 2 minus 3. And then what was Y? Radical 3. Now, if you were the few people who just could do it, that's perfect. So if you just look at it, so I'm just going to cover this. You're combining like terms. This radical 2 is going to go with this. So you're going to get 5 radical 2 minus 8 radical 2 is negative 3 radical 2, and then minus 3 radical 3. You could just look at it. But for those of you who couldn't see it, and I explained it to you in terms of looking at it in terms of X, Y, Z, and so forth, that's how you would do it. So I'm going to get negative 3, so it's going to be D. All right, simplify the following expression. So we need to break this down. Because this ends in an even number, I know 2 goes into it. All right, how many times does it go into this? So half of 224. All right, so let me look at it this way. Half of 224. What's half of 200? 100. So it's going to be 100 and something, right? And then what's half of 24? 12. So it's going to be 112 is half of that. The number ends still in an even number, so we are going to break that down again in half. So now if I have 112, so I have 100 and I have 12. Take half of 100, which is what? 50. Half of 12, which is 6, so it's 56. This still ends with, what do you call it? An even number, so you can still take half of 56. So again, I have 50 and I have 56, right? So I have 56. Half of 50 is 25. Half of 6 is 3. So I have 25 plus 3, which is 28. And so forth. Half of 28, so I can do 2 again, is 14. So again, I have 20 and I have 8. Half of 20 is 10. Half of 8 is 4. So I have 14. Half of 14 is, so half of 14 is 7. And now I am completely done. All right, so go ahead and put it all under the radical in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 2s, 3, 4, 5, and 1 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Let's take our books. So there's a book of 2. Take it outside. There's another book of 2. Take it outside. And I can't do any more books. So I've got 2 times 2, which is 4. And inside, I've got 2 times 7, which is 14. So 4 radical 14, B. All right, number 14. Listen, with word problems, I break it down the first time I read it. So he runs 400 meters in 68 seconds. So I'm going to write it down. 400 meters in equals 68 seconds. If he keeps the same pace for that extended time, what is his approximate time for a full mile? So the question is, and I guess I need to write this meters because they're both M. For 1 mile, how many seconds does that take? Okay, express it in minutes and seconds. Okay, so I'll do it in first in seconds and then find it in minutes and seconds. So they're telling you there is 1,600, so 1,600 meters equals 1 mile. So where I see 1 mile, I can put what? 1,600, and so you see, I see the 1 mile here, so I can cross that out, and I can put the 1,600 meters, because meters with meters equals how many seconds? So remember, the order matters, but it doesn't matter how you set it up, right? So I can say this goes with this, this goes with this. I can say this goes with this, then this goes with this, or I can do that backwards. So since I already have it written like this, I'm just going to write 400 meters goes with 68 seconds, and 1,600 meters goes with question mark seconds. And then you just cross multiply and divide. So question mark equals, 400 question mark, because this times this is 400 question mark equals, and I guess you can put an X, so we can put an X, since you guys like X's. 400 question mark equals 68 times 1,600. Now, I am not sure if you're going to have a calculator for this kind of question, so I'm just going to do it by hand. I need to do 1,600 times 68. So 6, and you know what? The box method is just the same for when you have numbers. So I'll do it over here on the side. So what you do is 1,600 times 68. Actually, I'm sorry, the 68 is supposed to be here. All right, so 6 times 0, 0. 6 times 0, 0. 6 times 6, 36. So I forgot to do this. If you join the diagonals up, so 6 times that, 0, 0. 6 times 0, 0, 0. 6 times 6 is 36, so that's going to be 36. 6 times 1 is 6. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 6, right? So if you don't know 8 times 6, you know 8 times 5, I hope, which is 40. So 8 times 6 will be 48. 8 times 1 is 8, so that'll be 0, 8. And then you add the diagonal. So there's a 0 here, 0. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 8, 8. 0 plus 6, 6 plus 4, 10 plus 8, 18. So I'm going to put an 8 and carry the 1 and put it anywhere I want to inside the next one. Then 0 plus 6 is 6, plus 1 is 7, plus that is 10, carry 1, so 0, carry 1. And then that one is just 1. And then you read it this way. So it's going to be 1, 0, 8, 8, 0, 0. Okay, and if you need some help with this, I actually have a video that shows you how to do this. So just let me know and I'll tell you. All right, so that times that is 1, 0, 8, 8, 0, 0. Okay, then we're going to divide both sides by what? 400. All right, so that goes away. This cancels with this cancels with this, and now we have to divide this by 4. All right, if you don't know long division, you definitely know how to take half of this, right? So you have to take like half of it twice. But I guess I'll just do long division. So this goes in the house, 1, 0, 8, 8, 4 outside. 4 goes into that 0 times, so I'm not going to do that. 4 goes into 10, 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. So 10 times 8 is, 10 minus 8 is 2. Bring the 8 down. 4 into 28, 7. 7 times 4 is 28. subtract that is 0, bring the 8 down. 4 into 8, 2. 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract that, that's going to be 0 with no remainder, so 272. So x equals 272 seconds. But the question is asking, right, what is it in minutes and seconds? So how many minutes are there in 1 second? So I want to say 272 seconds is how many, let me say that, minutes? Well, there is 60 seconds is 1 minute. So set up that proportion. So I've already set it up really. Cross multiply and divide that. So 1 times that is 272 equals 60 times that, which is 60y. Divide both sides by 60. And then you're going to get y equals 272 divided by 60. I'm sure they're going to give you a calculator on this. All right, 272 divided by 60. 4.53. So it's going to be 4 minutes, right? So 4 minutes is 4 times 60, which is 240 seconds. So you've used 240 seconds out of your 272. So if you subtract that, you're going to have 32 seconds left. So 32 seconds. 4 minutes and 32 seconds. Okay, now it says, the keyword here says approximately that. So it's going to be very close to this. So which one is very close to 4 minutes and 32 seconds? 4 minutes and 30 seconds. So that one's going to be B. For any right triangle, Pythagorean theorem is that. So I have a right triangle, okay, where a squared plus b squared equals c squared. C is always across from the 90. What does the expression 7s represent in this equation? Oh, so that's easy. They're telling you a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right? A squared plus b squared equals, this has to be what? What is squared? C. So 7s is c, which is what? Always across from the 90, which is always the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse has a length of 7s. That's correct. The area of the triangle, they're not telling you area. The hypotenuse has an area, they're not telling you area. The hypotenuse has a length of 7, no, because it has 7s. So A would be that correct answer. All right, be sure to answer all parts of the question. Expand and simplify the following expression. All right, so expand. So let's get in the house. 3x, because we're not rude, say hi to everybody. Minus 3. All right, let's get negative 2 in the house. Negative 2x. Say hi to everyone. Negative 2 times negative 3 is going to be positive 6. All right, don't forget boxes and circles. Do not forget the symbols. Okay, combine. 3 minus 2 is going to be x. Negative 3 plus 6, they're going to fight. Who wins is 6, so it's going to be positive. By how many? By 3. Expand and simplify the, okay, so that's it. That's the answer. Find the product of the following expressions. Again, do your box. So 5x plus 7 and then 3x minus 4. Go ahead and multiply. 5x times 3x is 15x. 7 times 3x is 21x. 5x times negative 4 is negative 20x. 7 times negative 4 is negative 28. Then add the diagonals, the like terms. So you have 15x, and then you've got positive team meeting negative team. They're going to fight. Who wins? The positive team, so plus. By how many? 1, because these guys are 20 of them. So 1x, and then minus 28. And I'm telling you, if you did your work, if you did your IXL, all this is really easy. All right, number 18, the lengths of side of a triangle. So, triangle. Here we go. Triangle are represented as x plus 2, 3x minus 2, and 2x plus 5. Express the perimeter. All right, so what do we do when we're doing perimeter? Remember when they say secure the perimeter, what do they do in the movies? They go around the whole shape. So we're going to go around the whole shape, 2x plus 5. We're going to write it all down, 3x minus 2, and x plus 2. And when we're going around the whole shape, we're going to add those things together. All right, so boxes and circles again around the variables. Don't forget the sign. And then around the integers, put circles. Don't forget the sign. right, now combine the boxes. 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 1 is 6x. 5 minus 2 is 3, plus 2 is 5. And it says write the binomial, so bi means 2, so there are 2 terms in terms of x. So there we go. Simplify the following expression. All right, so let's break this down. So this breaks down to 3 times what? 3 times 9. That breaks down to 3 times 3, right? This one breaks down to 2 and what? So we're going to take half of 48. So if I have 40 and I have 8, take half of 40, I'm going to get 20. Half of 8, I'm going to get 4, so 24. All right, we can take half of that again. So half of 20 is 10, half of 4 is 2, so that's going to be 12. We can take half of that again. Half of 10 is 5, and half of 2 is 1, so that's going to be 6. And then half of 6 is going to be 3. Okay, so let's write it all out. So we've got 2 radical, and then I got 3 times, plus radical, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 2's and a 3. 4 2's and a 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 3. All right, let's see. What do you see? I see a book of 3. Take that outside. So 3 outside. A book of 2. Take that outside. Another book of 2. Take that outside. All right. 3 times 2 is 6. And what's left inside? A 3. Plus 2 times 2 is 4. What's left inside? A 3. Now, because they're both 3's, what can I do to this? I can combine them because they look alike. And remember, if you can't see them because of the radical, if you just make the radical x, where you see a radical 3, if you put an x, so that'll be 6x plus 4x. What is that? 10x, right? So put the radical back in, so that's going to be 10 radical 3. So if the radicals confuse you and they're the same, just put the same variable there. So it's going to be 10 radical 3. All right. Our garden has an area of that. So a garden has an area of that, a width of that. All right, so first, this is a garden. It has an area, so area is 12 meters squared, and the width is 400 centimeters. Now be very, very careful. You always have to look at what they got, okay? Like what they have in the question. So you see, we can't have meters and then centimeters. It means we need to turn one of them into the other. Now, I'm going to work in centimeters because if I do this in, actually, 1 centimeter is centimeter. So 1 centimeter or 1 meter is how many centimeters? 100 centimeters. Centi is 100. So centimeters, 100. So how many meters is 400 centimeters? If 1 meter is 100, what is 400 centimeters? So again, centimeter with centimeter, meter with meter. All right, cross multiply and divide. So 400 times 1 is 400 equals 100 times x. Divide by 100. And this cancels that cancels that. So 4 divided by 1 is 4, so x is 4. So 4 meters is 400 centimeters. So this is 4 meters. What's the appropriate measure to measure the garden? Meters, because the number is smaller. So you have to say why. So meters, because the number is smaller. Determine the length of the garden. Okay, so the width is 4 meters, and we're trying to find this, x. How do you find area of a rectangle? Area is base times height. So area, which is 12, equals the base, which I don't know, so x, times the height, which is 4. So this is 12 equals 4x, just because we never see the number after the variable. So how do I solve for x? Divide both sides by 4. So x is 12 divided by 4, which is what? 3. So x equals 3 meters. And make sure you write down the units because you could have solved this in centimeters as well. All right. Sally solved the following. Solve the following equation but made an error. So they made a mistake here somewhere. Determine where they made the error and describe the error she made. Now describe means you have to write in words. If you don't write in words, you're gonna not get any points. All right, so again, let's get rid of the parentheses. What's outside? Positive, so this stays the same. So 3x squared plus 6x minus 12, that's 5. All right, this one needs to get in the house. So negative 7x squared. And negative times a negative would be a what? A positive. So over here, she would have needed to have a what? A positive. And then a negative times a positive is a negative. Okay, so that's a mistake. So she first made an error in step 1 and described the error she made. When she multiplied, I'm just gonna say, I'm not writing it down. When she multiplied -1 times -4, she didn't change the sign to +4. That's the error. Solve the equation by correcting what she made. So this line is not correct because I solved it there. So 3x squared plus 6x minus 12 minus 7x squared plus 4x minus 3. So I just copied it down with my fixing the mistake. And now we're just going to do our boxes. X squareds, don't forget the symbols with all my x squared, okay? Circles with just the x's, don't forget my symbol. And triangles with the numbers. So boxes is 3 minus 7. Who wins? Negative wins by how many? By 4. So negative wins by 4x squared. Cancel them. Circles, 6 plus 4 is going to be 10x. Those are gone. And then negative meets negative. What's going to happen? There are going to be more negatives. How many more negatives? 15. Bam. And that's it. That's your entire study guide.